Should you buy a pre-sale in 2025? I've asked this question to a bunch of realtors. The reason I still ask it again is because I've never been satisfied with the answer.
Look at the land. All the land has been built.
Right?
So we have a limit in land here. If you go to Toronto, it's still a sprawling landscape of land. There's a lot more area there to build. So fun fact, if you do a resale unit and you put it up on realtor.ca or Paragon, whatever you want to call it, you can't include outdoor square footage.
Yeah.
With the current market where we're at, developers are not building right now. Developers are not putting holes in the ground. They're not buying land. They're not. But some people want the shiny and new as well, right? And for some, it's also prestigious. You know, they want to live in that building. They want to live in that one area.
Should you buy a pre-sale in 2025? Today we find out with managing broker James Walker. Every realtor, when they answer it, it sounds like they just want to make the money. They just say, yeah, you buy it.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're talking about most of the time.
Okay.
Average pre-sale or realtor in general is going to be a salesperson. They're going to want to sell you something.
Right.
So it's very important for a consumer, such as yourself, to know what they're looking for.
So one thing I think that's gonna be important for our viewers in this video is we're gonna educate them so that they can learn a lot about what they want for themselves and then just use realtors as references. Because
you still don't know if you want one, right?
Yeah, well, you gotta watch a lot of videos. Because the thing is, if you ask a realtor, it's like a luck draw. You either get a realtor who really advises you based on what you need or a realtor who's trying to sell you, and it's hard to know.
The reality of it is that most realtors who help you with pre-sales, they can't do much.
Okay.
Many first-time buyers, they buy a pre-sale, they go to sell.
Really? They never look at like resale condos before they look at the pre-sale?
There's so much that developers do. So when you sell resale units, all supposed to be livable square footage. A garage is not livable square footage.
Okay. So first I need to learn about how to protect myself as a buyer, then I decide if I want to buy. Do you think normal buyers buying a home to live in I think they're gonna walk in and go like, do I like this or not? Can I afford this?
When you do a purchase, the first thing you're always gonna have is emotions.
Okay.
But eventually it's gonna come down to one thing. How much do you want the place?
Okay.
And I'm gonna always get another conversation. If you're buying now, with the current market where we're at, developers are not building right now. Developers are not putting holes in the ground. They're not buying land, they're not doing it. So if you're buying here right now, it's all about your future planning.
Okay.
The value now needs to be present in 5 years from now.
Okay.
Right? So are you future-proofed?
Okay.
If you actually read through a pre-sale contract, a pre-sale contract is not in the least way in favor of the buyer.
Okay.
A pre-sale contract is 1,000% in the favor of the developer.
But the buyer can never renegotiate a pre-sale contract?
No negotiations that happen with the
Realtors are not going to point that out. Realtor needs to get the commission.
A good realtor will sit down and tell you that, and they should be telling you that, because it's a very important fact of what's going to happen.
Very few realtors are going to do that when they're at the contract phase.
Absolutely, but the good ones will. But once again, what makes a good pre-sale realtor? A good pre-sale realtor, they should be living and breathing these. They should be taking the information, coming to events there, meeting the salespeople so they get the best inside edge, so they know when the next construction. A lot of times, the best that a pre-sale realtor can do for you is get you an in on the best unit.
Okay.
Right? So that's what a really good pre-sale realtor can do for you. They can get they can know the unit. We talked about this last video. You go buy a tower, and what's going on beside you?
Okay.
Is it some big thing that's going to destroy your view of Big White or Stanley Park or whatever the heck your view is, right? So this is what a good pre-sale realtor would know. They would know this inside information for you and how, and just have knowledge.
Okay.
Right? Knowledge is key.
Before I went through a phase of I like seeing all of this new stuff.
Yeah.
But now I see it so much, I actually like the character homes and heritage homes more.
Actually, I agree with you 100%.
So why do all pre-sales still keep doing the same thing? Like, is that people gonna keep buying the same thing?
People do continue to buy the same thing. They want the new. You and me, we are not the norm.
Okay.
Because I agree. But the new salespeople, my wife, she likes the new, right? That's what she's going for. She wants to see stainless steel chrome, all this nice stuff.
Yeah, the fact that I have to wait 4 or 5 years, I don't know if that ever makes sense from, if you're building your own business, why would I ever put my money into the real estate instead of my own business?
Depends on the deposit structure as well. Now, if you had 50 grand from inheritance or something like that, and you talked to a developer and you got now is that $50,000 today going to do more for you holding on to that property for the next 4 years while it gains value, or is it going to do better in the stock market or buying Google or Apple or Tesla, right? Depends which one is going to do better for you in the end. If you believe that money, 50 grand right now, in 4 years will be worth enough for you to buy a property, then maybe that's what you want to do.
Well, yeah, it depends on everyone's risk levels, and that's what I'm curious about now. Is so we know stocks, like stock risk levels.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If you buy just ETFs, it's okay, right? S&P 500s. What is the risk level of putting into pre-sale?
It depends where you live, right? Toronto right now is in a much more, it's in a worse state than we are in Vancouver. Pre-sales in Vancouver have always done well. They will continue to do well. Look at the land. All the land has been built.
Right.
So we have a limit in land here. If you go to Toronto, it's still a sprawling landscape of land. There's a lot more area there to build, hence our values are always going to hold here, because when you buy this tower, yes, it costs $300 million to build, whatever it is, construction costs, amenities, everything else. Your value's in the dirt. That's what you're buying.
But is the value going to hold when many more buildings are coming up quickly?
4 to 5 years as it comes up, yeah. Look at our immigration. Look how many people are coming to Vancouver. Look at what you're looking at. Why would you not want to move here?
Okay, what percent of people when they're buying pre-sale is investment, and what percentage is purely for like living, a non-investment return?
In the past, it was a lot more of a investor situation.
Right.
Now it's a lot more people buying, because we have the foreign buyer ban. We have other things that are happening. There is a tax on every single last person who wants to invest. So for you wanting to buy as a pre-sale, as a buyer, you're going to live there. You're going to move in there. That's the only thing that truly makes a lot of sense right now.
Why would you buy something 5 years from now?
That's the tough part. And that is the hardest part as an investor.
Right. Isn't it now better to own land when the city wants to build more
And you go find that
density?
land and build it. That's so hard. And
or
when you do
to
it,
own land, that's why you buy the single detached, right?
if you strike the lottery and they change the official community plan to make that now high density, because you don't know.
Because land is always going to hold value. We talked about limited land. So if I buy a single detached, I own that land. But these high rises, as more high rises come up, why would the high rises increase in value, like the older high rises?
Well, it's just population, supply and demand. That's not a good sign when developers will. They've been hiring and not worrying for 10, 15 years now.
Right.
So there's a lot changing as we go.
Right. I mean, you told me a lot, but I still don't feel convinced and I don't know why. So what do you think is the reason?
I think it's somebody who's a planner, who has the idea, who knows what they're going to be in 4 years.
But what age, like who under 30 is going to be that type of planning?
What? It's all about banking mom and dad these days. They have a lot of equity.
Then it's parental planning. It's never the
generational wealth, I think is what they're calling it.
But who's making the decision? The parents or the kids?
Both. Some of the parents are selling their homes and they're buying in these buildings to all be close to each other.
You think a person under 30 has enough insight to plan 5 years ahead?
I know I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think most people do.
But I think a lot of the parents' decisions in pushing, and a lot of had success in investing in the past, do see the value in pre-sales and do say, look at, perfect example is Yaletown, where our office is located. It's beautiful, but it was the site of Expo 86 lands. It was garbage land. And it all got built up. And everyone who bought there back in the 90s and everyone said, you're crazy. You're spending $100,000 for a condo down there. Those condos are now worth $2-3 million. That's a huge return on investment, and you've lived there and had a great life.
Right.
So if you were one of those people who had all this great success, and mind you, don't ever expect that boom to happen again in Vancouver. That boom's come and gone, right? You're looking for solid progress on a property now. You're looking for a quality build that'll actually make some money in equity over the long term. Now, there's been a lot of developers, small developers who have come into this market since the past 15 years and they've got some money and they buy some land and I'm going to become the next developer.
Okay, let me ask you my final few questions. Let's sit over here. I've never been a person to think I would ask my parents for money. That's just like my personal choice.
Fair. Yep.
Let's say if I did have this chunk of money.
Yes.
Okay, so how much money would usually a family would need to buy a...
It depends on the deposit structure for a building. Anywhere between 5 to 20%
Let's talk about
down.
this one.
This one is 20%.
Okay.
4 payments of 5%.
So if I were to buy something, I'd probably need at least a 2-bed, which would be around...
Yeah, we're looking at about, 1,300, 1,500 square feet, 1.5 million, 1.8?
Okay, so then I need 300,000.
Minimum.
Okay, and how much money do I need ready to make a decision? Just 300,000 to make the decision? I need to prepare more.
It depends on the timeline. So a lot of the deposits will be 5% today, 5% in 6 more months.
Okay.
5% again in 18 months as the process goes
So
through.
when the parents provide the money, like I have all this money ready, like no matter what, they already have the entire amount ready.
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna have to have it available and liquid, right? You
Okay.
can't be like, well, I gotta sell my property to make sure I can actually pay this deposit.
Right. So let's say the 2-bed is what? What do you say? 1.5 million.
Let's say 1.5.
Let's say 1.5 million. My parents get me maybe a million-ish ready.
Sure.
I'm assuming I can make the other 500,000 by myself. If I had a million ready, would I buy this?
Well, you're not gonna have all that money go into this. You're gonna put the deposit
over
down
5 years.
and you're gonna wait and hold that based on that 300 grand, whatever it is. And then you're gonna most likely get a mortgage on this and continue as a regular insured mortgage.
Well, then there's okay, so first of all, if I suddenly got $300,000, I would know how to put that to use. That holding it for real estate doesn't even make sense.
Well, what are you gonna do with it then? But your parents gave you the money to buy a property, I'm assuming, right?
I can't do it with it
Well, you
whenever I
can't
want.
just go buy, a vacation for 6 months, right? You got to buy property with it. So that's what we're seeing the most of. Is there is generational wealth, where mom and dad know that you are a hardworking young professional. You're doing your best. You're trying to save money. But I read about the statistics the other day, and it was quite daunting about how stringent and strict your saving policy needs to be to save $80,000 in Vancouver based on rent, based on everything, to get that down payment. So that's why a lot of parents see this. The kids are struggling. The kids have saved over the past 5 years 30 grand and they're still struggling. That's why the parents go and then maybe they'll do a second mortgage on their property, take that equity out of it, give that to the kids, whatever it is. And at that point, they use it as a down payment, not all of it. Like, you don't need 1.5 million today ready to buy this place. You need the deposit structure. You need a good job. You need to be able to cover your income based on what it is. So if you've got a $1.2 million mortgage coming up in the future, you're gonna have to make sure that you have a mortgage prepared and you talk to someone for $1.2 million in the future. You can't go and say, okay, good, I got a mortgage. And all of a sudden you're gonna say, well, now I'm a very powerful banking person. Now I'm gonna go become a freelance artist, right? And maybe don't have that same income. You have to make sure you're prepared for 4 years from now, which is another thing people need to worry about.
Okay, but the problem with this right now is just, I'm not being convinced, or it's not even I'm not being convinced. I still don't know whether to buy a resale or not.
Resale has its values. Resale, you get instant gratification. You can have a completion in 1 month. And when I say completion, that's when you pay for the property, then your possessions, you move into the property. You can have instant gratification of that.
Right.
But are you ready today? And do you have the full available amount to put down today? Are you ready to go?
Let me answer this final question with you in a comfier seat. Okay, why am I not convinced?
Because I don't think you're a pre-sale buyer.
So I'm definitely not gonna buy a pre-sale.
Pre-sale for me, I would never live in a pre-sale myself.
Okay.
Because it's just not for me. I wouldn't want the stress of moving in with everyone and doing it. I kind of am more of a cautious person. I'd want to see what happens, how the building shapes up, what's going on, what the amenities actually finish with that. But what I would buy a pre-sale for now is for my 2 kids in the future.
Okay. But why would you not buy a house and just rent it out?
Because they're not going to live in a house, and I can't afford a house.
Okay.
But if I could get 2 junior studios or something like that for my kids, and then who are now 12 and 9.
Right.
Now, do I believe that if I bought today at this price, would it be worth more in an investment down the road as I rent it and carry it on for them, then eventually go, hey, this is yours to live in? Yes, I do believe that's a solid investment. I do believe I'd rather do that than buy a single family detached home, deal with all the upgrades, repairs, renovations, upkeep. It's a lot of money, right? And a resale, I don't need the place right now. So if I put my money down on it today, in 4 years, I know I'm still gonna want it.
Right.
So that's where the investment comes into hand.
So I think a lot of people watching this video, there's some people who are gonna really understand what you're saying, and some people who are gonna really be confused like me. But I think it's because people like me, we don't understand the type of buyer that buys this.
Yeah.
I don't know what their desires are. You keep saying for your kids. I can't imagine the desire of that.
Yeah. But some people want the shiny and new as well, right? And for some, it's also prestigious. You know, they want to live in that building. They want to live in that one area. They want, right? And that's what many people just want. They want that thing, so they're going to go get it. And for some people, they just have more money, right? Or they've sold their property. They're downsizing. And then, you know what? I lived in the area. I love the look of this building. It speaks to them, right? So it depends on their financial freedom.
Right. Okay, I think this is gonna take some time for me to wrap my head around on pre-sales, but I think as we look more into pre-sales and learn about it, including constructions, deficiencies, problems.
Yes.
the goods and the ups, because right now I'm just like in this neutral area. I don't know all the goods, the good goods and the bad bads.
Maybe by the end of the series, we try to convince you what you are, whether after you have to see the good side and the bad
At
side.
the end of the series, I need to choose which home to buy. I'll buy a home by the end of the series.
Okay, whether it's resale, pre-sale, we'll figure it out.
Okay, when we reach 100K subscribers, we'll buy a home.
Perfect.
Okay, all right. But until then, if you guys have any questions, comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, and check out this video.